Hello and welcome. This is Chrisanne and I'm coming at you from Elemental Energies with Chrisanne. And as promised, we are going to be making some jewelry because I love to wear jewelry. Can't always afford to buy jewelry, so I started making my own decades and decades ago. I sold my first piece of jewelry when I was 5. So we are going to make this. How does it look? Does it look okay? It's not like top of the line pendant, but I think it's pretty darn pretty. And wait till you see what it is made from. We are going to be recycling packaging and creating this pendant. It's a piece of plastic from plastic packaging. It is fairly sturdy. It's a little bendy, but not too bad. Let me show you what I made this from. When you go to the grocery store, you get these containers that have like veggie medleys in them, like fresh veggies, like for veggie dip in the middle. This was the lid of one of those packages. You can get cut up fruit, you can get cut up veggies. I'm sure you've seen them in the grocery store. This is the lid. This is what it says on it. If you can't read it, it says PL1025 with the little recycling thing with the 1 in the middle. That's the plastic that I'm using. This sticker was on it. I'm leaving it. I don't care. I'm not using that part. I washed it a long time ago. It got all dirty again. It's not like dirty. It's just life happens. And let me see. This is a piece I cut up. So that's how much I used. We are going to be making some jewelry. I'm going to show you how I made this pendant. And then I also made a couple pairs of earrings. And it kind of reminded me of an Easter egg. Easter is right around the corner. I don't really do a ton for Easter. But the whole thing kind of reminded me of an Easter egg. So I did that. And then I have this one that I haven't turned into jewelry yet, but I created that too. It's 2 of them. This one got a little messed up, but that's okay. I'm still going to use it for something. But even if I just used this as a component, like a pendant or something like that, I'm okay with that. Now, you might be noticing this packaging starts off as clear. It ends up white. Really, really cool. I had a blast with this. Let me put these here. And let me show you what we're going to do. So this necklace, it's called an omega. It's a hard omega necklace. I will be linking necklaces, this one and a soft omega necklace in the description. So if you're looking going, I don't have that necklace, but I like it. This I got on Amazon for $10. It is stainless steel. I am going to be linking this stainless steel $10 one, and I am going to be linking a sterling one for like $20. It's a soft omega. I like omega necklaces. This one, I've had it for years and years and years and years. There's a little thing that's supposed to be here that clips into that. It broke. It doesn't affect the wearability. In fact, I kind of like it a little better without the little thing because it doesn't get stuck on my hair. I don't clasp it when I wear it. I wear it open like this, and I've never had a problem. And like I said, I've had this, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. I've had this one. So let me show you what we're going to need. Other than the recycled plastic piece, I am decorating these using acrylic paint markers. This is the set I'm using. It is from Amazon as well. I'm going to try and remember to link this too. I have done a review. I have a whole video on this where I've done a review. These are really nice. They're double-ended. Here, let me show you. They're double-tipped markers. And there's a brush tip, and I think that's called like a bullet tip. And it's fine and brush is what it's called. They work great, as you can see. And let me take my messed up one. They're there. It's not, there's my fingernail. It's not, I mean, well, it is scraping off a little bit, but you saw that I scraped for quite a while. If you want to put a finish on this, you can do the UV resin, and that will make this even more harder and more durable. I'm not going to put UV resin on this just because I want to see how long it's going to last. So this is my experiment. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way. And what I initially did, I did a paper, oh, it's really hard to see. I did a paper punch. It's really tricky to cut this with a paper punch. I mean, it doesn't look substantial, but when you get in with the paper punch, it is quite substantial. You can use paper punch if you want, have at it. The other thing is I just cut it with scissors. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to create a pendant together. Now this one, it's like bent here and bent here. So I'm just going to cut it so I can get a flat piece. And at this point, if you want to come in with your paper cutter, you can come in, once this is flat, you can come in with your paper cutter and cut it. These are just cheap kitchen scissors that I got on Temu, and I leave them here at my desk for just this type of project. Okay, so here's my piece. Let me move these out of the way. Now, I'm going to decide what do I want to do. I want to do another pendant. So I'm just going to kind of follow this line. I'm going to clean it up just a little bit. And I kind of like sort of abstract shaped things. That works for me. Let me move this out of the way. Next thing I'm going to, let me fix this a little bit right here. There, okay. Next thing I'm going to do, that was just me being picky. I am going to come in and I'm going to make holes so I can turn this into jewelry. Now, if you want to wear this as an earring, hold it this way, poke a hole in the top. I would wear that as an earring. That's not a problem for me. This is going to shrink by 1/4 of an inch. That's it. That's all it's going to shrink. It is not like shrink plastic. We are going to be heating this like you do with shrink plastic, but it only is going to reduce by 1/4 of an inch. Shrink plastic reduces much, much, much more than that. I am using my Crocodile, and this is the We Are Memory Keepers one, and I am going to be, let's see what size, I'm going to use the smaller of the two. And I am going to approximately put my holes right there. I know it's hard to see because this is clear. There, you can see that. Next thing I want to do, let's make space. And I want to come in with my markers. So I have a collection of markers that I've already picked with colors that are sort of aesthetically pleasing to me. I am big on turquoise. I've said many, many times I'm big on turquoise. So I'm going to do virtually something very comparable, similar to this one. So we're going to do those roses together. What I did is I took my paint markers. Let me put my tool right there so they don't move. And let's move this out of the way. The trouble with having a small desk. Okay. I want the fine point. And all I did was I just did like squiggles all along the edge. You find what design works for you. We all have sort of that design we can do. And then I just came in and I did dots in between each squiggle. These markers don't need to be primed between each use. They're really nice markers, I have to say. Then what I wanted to do is come in and do my very artistic rendition of a rose. Let's start with the pink. I am using the brush tip, and let's do on this side. I am doing sort of like a swish over it, another swish. Here, let me pick this up so I can bring it to you closer. Those are all the marks I'm doing. And then I'm just going to kind of press down on my brush marker and just add some more. That's all I do. I'm just adding sort of like semi-C's. I'm going to kind of make not really a circle, but kind of come around. I do these in threes. So you see there's my threes. I come in between. There. I'm going to leave that one as is because I'm going to come in and I'm going to do some leaves. I work in threes. Next color I want to do is yellow. Kind of like a seat on itself. Do my threes. Just kind of add, just fill in a little bit. That's it. That's all I'm doing. This little mark here, first row, and I keep building out my rows beyond that. That's it. That's all I'm doing. Come in with a green. And let's do the brush tip on this one. And we're going to do some leaves. We can color those in if we want. And I'm having the leaves come out from each of the flowers. So 2, 2, 2, 3. Okay. You want to come in with some other colors, decorate around, go for it. I did. I came in with the fine tip with the orange. And I'm doing circle dots all around. Just kind of filling in, adding some circle dots. It's hard to pick these up. Cassie Rose is in here. There. You can really barely see the orange. It doesn't really show up great on camera. Okay, let's move this out of the way. Next thing that I want to do is move these out of the way because I'm going to come in with my heat gun. Now, I'm using a stylus in case I need to sort of grab my piece if it blows out of the way. You use what works for you. I'm going to move this out of the way as well. I'm going to grab my heat gun. Now, if you've watched my other videos, you know I have a really, really, really old heat gun. Does not have a protective tip on this metal thing, so that's deadly. It is a burn waiting to happen, so I avoid that at all costs. My tip that I am going to give you is work with either the lid or the bottom of a little jewelry box. When you're doing shrink plastic, this is not shrink plastic, but when you're doing shrink plastic, it holds it in place and it doesn't send it flying. What some people do is they will take their stylus tool or whatever, put it in the hole of the jewelry to hold it, or just press it down on the jewelry. I have my hand too close to the heat to do that. I'm not really going to do that. The other thing before we get started, you're going to need something to press it down flat. I used to use my wooden stamps, the back of the wooden stamp. I don't have one right here. I can't imagine that I don't. It's got to be here somewhere. But I am going to use this container. It is metal. This holds my wax pencil thing. And I can just smush it with that. You need a smusher. I was using this as my smusher and some of the paint came off and that's what got onto the piece. And I was quite upset, to say the least. You do what works for you. This is going to be loud. You are warned. I am going to show you, I am not going to fast forward the tape, the video. I am going to show you in real time how long it takes to do this. You notice it's clear now. It is going to turn white. Not all of them do turn white. This particular one does turn white. I love it that it turns white. Notice the size. It's going to shrink by 1/4 of an inch. It gets a smidge thicker, not like shrink plastic does. This is very different than shrink plastic. Similarities, but it's different. Now, I do have my acrylic blocks here. This one has lines in it, one side. The other side, I have something that's about to fall, so let me just grab this and move this out of the way. So this side has lines in it, and it's actually in it. It's etched in it. This side does not have lines in it. So if you're going to use something like that, just be mindful of it. Maybe I'll try that and see. I don't know if it's going to stick to it because it's plastic and acrylic, you know, plastic and plastic. I might just stick with this. But anyways, here we go. Watch how it happens. It's kind of fun. I keep the heat gun moving. I do not leave it in one spot. And there, it starts to move just like shrink plastic. You see, because I have it in this little box, it's holding it there. It's not flying all over the place because it's in this little plastic box. So it is already shrinking up. You can see some of the sides are lifted up. It is just starting to turn white. It has a little bit of a smell, but nowhere near offensive. And I have a super sniffer. It is not an offensive smell at all. And I'm keeping it moving. And you can see the paint is staying there. The paint's not going anywhere. The paint is not running. It is kind of melting in, I guess, to the plastic. I'm just going to keep this going until I see all that white. And then what I want to do, I should have done this before. I need to move this so it doesn't stick to it. Move it a little bit more. And now I'm going to press it. And I'm pressing it flat. When I did this, I didn't want it to stick to that black paper. This is glass. I can easily pop it off the glass. Yeah. Is it 100% flat? No. Does that bother me? No. It's not hot. That paint is in there. Like I said, you can come in with the UV resin. You know, the other thing that I have that I use, and I haven't tried it on this, but I use the Duracoat High Gloss, and I use that on paper and wood. The other thing that I have not tried it, do not know if it's going to work, is Mod Podge. So those are options. Not vetted. If you don't want to give it a finish, you don't need to give it a finish. That's it. That's it. Did you see how quick, easy, and simple that was? Okay, let me put my heat gun away. This is going to take me just a second because I don't want to get burnt. Okay. Let's come back with the black paper to cut back down on the shine. And now I'm going to show you how I do the jump rings. So I want to make sure I have a jump ring, and I'm going to go with this one that's going to fit. Yeah, that one's going to fit. And I have my pliers here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my jump ring. This collection has a whole bunch of different sizes of jump rings. You do need something with a whole bunch of different sizes of jump rings. So I have this one, and then I'm going to go to my teeny tiny smallest. And I'm going to put one on this before I close it. And you know what? Before I do that, I see this isn't fully closed. I am just going to make sure this is fully closed. We're not going to open this one. We don't need to open this one. If you have a hard time seeing where the opening is, you can feel it by running your finger over it. Okay, that's fully closed. I am going to string that onto this one, and now I'm going to close it. Just leaving that little one there. I'm going to use that one in a minute. You'll see. I wiggle these back and forth to make sure there's a really good seal closure, and you can feel it. There, I'm good with that. Let's do the exact same thing on the other side. And once again, I see this one's not fully closed, so I want to make sure I fully, make sure I fully close this. I'm just holding it. I'm coming there. Okay, that's good. We are getting a snowstorm and an ice storm as I craft right now in the moment. And I'm stringing that little one there. Now, if you wanted to add charms, this is when you add charms. I am not going to add charms to this. There. That's good. Okay, so I have 2 on each side already. I need a third. So for my third, I am going to come to a fairly big one. Let's go with the largest one that we have here. The bigger they are, the easier they are to work with. This is what the necklace is going to be going through. Now, if you don't have tools, you can just open it with your finger. This is going through that little one. I am going to use my tools, but you don't have to. The bigger ones are easy enough to just kind of wiggle with your finger. There. Let's closed. Pretty flush. Let me give it one more little thingy there. Yep. Let me take this other one. Let's open that up. Let's put that through the little teeny tiny one, and only the little teeny tiny one. And let's close that. You can use your finger if you don't have 2 pliers. Not quite the way I want it. There, that's the way I want it. Let me grab my necklace. Take this one off. Let's put this one on. When you hold it upside down, these line up. These. I know you can't really see it right there, but trust me. Hold it upside down. Stick the necklace through. Stick the necklace through. There you go. There's your necklace. You see how they line up nice? Isn't that neat? Now, if you wanted to put another hole here, dangle a bead from it, go ahead. What I do, if I'm going to do the finish on these, like let's just say the UV resin, I make sure all my holes are done before I do the heat. Make sure the paint is there before I do the heat. Heat it, reduce it. Before I add any hardware, I put on my finish. Once my finish is fully dry, then I assemble it using the hardware. Okay? That's the order of things. Pretty good. You do the exact same thing for earrings. So for the earrings, I did add a charm on that first loop. I did 2 loops on this one. Grab my other one too. 1, 2, 2 loops. And I did the charm on the first one, and I did that smaller loop on the first one. And then through the last one, I just put my earring finding through. The exact same thing, you just add earring findings. We are going to be doing some more videos where we do some earrings and things like that. That's why I wanted to sort of feature the necklace on this one, because we're going to be having a lot more jewelry videos. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope this has been fun. It's a great way to recycle. I will be making a couple more of these. Now, if you don't want to do jewelry, you could do keychains. So think of that as well. And you can get keychain findings anywhere and everywhere at any of the craft stores, etc. So there you go. It's kind of a fun piece. I am going to wear it. So yeah, a little bit of recycling, a little bit of saving all that stuff, but it's also free art supplies. So think of that as well. This is going to make a fun gift, and it's fairly indestructible. But now that I have 2, I probably will try a finish on one of them and just sort of see how they last. So I will give an update when I have one. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you want to make these and you want to tag me and show me, I am on Instagram, KrisAnne1234. I am on Blue Sky, KrisAnne1234, and I'm on Facebook, Elemental Energies with KrisAnne. Thanks so much for tuning in. Take care and be free.